Economic indicators. Business Confidence Index. The BCI shows how the business economy is viewed within each country, or it presents the economic situation and climate. The BCI can also be used to check growth and anticipate curves in economic growth. It allows analysis of economic situation in short term and is usually published monthly or quarterly. The interpretation of the BCI depends on the methodology or approach used. However, the outcomes are always interpreted the same. That is, either respondents are optimistic or pessimistic about the outlook of the economy. Every quarter, CEO Art will conduct surveys asking questions about the overall economy, sectorial perspective, own business prospects, and key economic variables outlook. From the inaugural BCI survey, second quarter of 2023, the BCI for Zimbabwe was about 55 points, which is less than the base, 100 points. This implies that the respondents were pessimistic or bearish about the future outlook of the economy. The key issues highlighted for immediate attention in order to improve the business confidence in Zimbabwe are exchange rate, inflation management, narrowing the infrastructure gap, and fighting corruption. As we embark on the third quarter BCI survey, we call upon all key stakeholders to participate and complete the questionnaires for effective contribution towards establishing this significant economic indicator.
A good afternoon to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Yes, we will be talking about a very interesting topic or issue, which is on property market development. I kindly ask my panelists to come up here. I will introduce them when they are here. Mr. Ken Sharp, please come through. Thank you, sir. Mr. Ken Sharp is coming, okay. Patience Patungamoyo. Patience Patungamoyo. Richard Matengabili. Thank you. And lastly, Yuvel Chileya. Yuvel Chileya. Thank you. Yuvel Chileya. So we're talking about the property market development within the Vision 2030. Probably Zimbabwe, but Harare case in point. I would like to hasten and bring a very important issue to us all sitting here. So we talk about Vision 2030. Where does it come from? Is it just a statement, which was thought by somebody? So Vision 2030 is a UN Sustainable Development Goal-driven agenda at global level. And with the theme that says from theory to practice. And this Vision 2030, from Zimbabwe's perspective, was nationalized. We then adopted it. And I really want to emphasize for everybody to appreciate. So we took as part of the UN and we adopted it for ourselves. And Vision 2030 to Zimbabwe is focused on promoting innovation, entrepreneurship, equitable development, and prosperity for all. Under a market economy that leverages on Zimbabwe's natural resources and abundant human skills. And then specifically, the policies, and as pointed out by the minister here, the target of the policy is to fundamentally transform Zimbabwe to an upper middle economy with a per capita gross income of over 5,000 from 1,440 where we are. I just thought it's very important for us to put this goal and underline it, so that when we talk to this issue, we put it in context. Now, as we sit here at the CO Arts 2023 conference, we said towards African Renaissance, prosperity through smart partnerships. Now, the objective that we want to achieve here is, as a panel, with the panelists here, how can the property market development facilitate, first at the UN level, moving from theory to practice? Second, an empowered upper middle income economy. And lastly, an African renaissance of prosperity through smart partnerships. So with me here, I've got a panel that shall explore and flesh out and bring insights and challenges and impediments, as well as advice on this important issue. And I have here Mr. Ken Sharp, the CEO and Chairman of West Properties Holdings. And to him, I think he will appreciate when I say hashtag a billion bricks. He's got a vision for a billion bricks. And Patience Patonga Moyo, licensed and principal registered agent of SIF Properties. Richard Matengami, managing director of also Properties. I can't place you here, who's also supposed to be here. But these are the guys that highly empowered delegation who are in the property market to help us discuss this. I will start from my left with you, Ken, and say, what is your vision and plans for Zimbabwe in the property market development? And how do you think it does help in achieving Vision 2030? Your plans, your vision, and how does it achieve Vision 2030?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honourable Minister, all protocols observed. Firstly, I have a slide that I'd like to put up on the screen in a minute. But while they get that slide up, I would like to firstly say vision is important. The Bible says a nation without a vision perishes. And I think it's more important to have a vision, not only as a nation, but as a company and as individuals, to know where you're going. Because surely if you do not know where you are going, then the chances are you're going to get lost. So at West Property, we too have a vision. Our vision is until 2050. I know United Nations has a vision to 2030. The country has a vision to 2030. We went a bit longer than the next 7 years. We went for the next 27 years. And the reason why we came up with this vision, besides it being a little bit of background, is I dropped out of school when I was 17. And about 5 years ago, I was invited to go study at Harvard Business School in a 3-year program. And COVID fortunately made it 4 years, so I graduated last year in June. And as part of our final year, we discovered that having a vision, mission statement, business plans are important. But the most important thing a company should have, which many people don't think about, is what's called a strategy statement. A strategy statement tells you where you're going, how you're going to get there, what it is that you're trying to achieve, and most importantly, why you're going. In Westrock, we say with 1 billion bricks by 2050, we will pioneer world-class, vertically integrated, premium lifestyle communities in Zimbabwe. Using technology and innovation, we operate in a high-performance culture of excellence, delivering a trusted, customer-centric ecosystem to live, work, shop, and play. We've coined this term in Zimbabwe. Many other developers are following in our way and building lifestyle communities that are vertically integrated as one ecosystem. If we look at the real estate market today, you'll be quite surprised to see that in Borrowdale, just within 1 kilometer radius, there's currently 20 developments under construction or having been completed in the last 2 to 3 years. None of those, by the way, are ours. They all are competitors, within 500 meters from one of our developments. If you add up the value of these developments, it's over 100 million US dollars. That means that 100 million US dollars has come into the Zimbabwean real estate sector in the last 3 years and is going to stay there permanently. Because the thing about real estate and bricks is that they don't leave the country. Once you put them in the ground, they stay there permanently. So our vision of 1 billion bricks is because the land that we own, that we're building on, will take 1 billion bricks to build all the developments we intend to build. So it's not just a number, it's really a fact that we're going to put 1 billion bricks in the ground, and that will take 4 billion US dollars, between 4 and 5 billion US dollars. You can see the area that I just showed you on that slide there is in Pomona, between Border Road and Alps Road. And our large development in the blue there is Pokogara, where we have about 130 housing units, of which almost half have been completed already. The last remaining 70 units is our final phase of that development that we're currently selling. 20 are under construction, so we have about 50 left. I'm sure there's more than 50 buyers in the room here, if anyone's interested. Millennium Heights is the development just south of it, where we're building 1,000 flats. We've currently constructed 3 buildings. We're on the last floor of the 3rd building, of just over 200 units of the 1,000. And we broke ground last week on Block 4, which is the most exciting building in that area. It's the first time we've been allowed to go above 4 floors. The town planning used to only allow up to 4 floors construction. Block 4 is now 6 floors. And we're excited that we're going up not only in terms of quality, but in terms of height. So the last point I'll say is the value of our developments in that area is 500 million US dollars that is currently under construction. So if you take that plus the 100, we're talking of $600 million in the ground right now. So we were positively confident in the Zimbabwean economy, in the Zimbabwean future, and we are sure 100% that Zimbabwe will become a middle-income society. It is very possible. Thank you.
So much, Ken. Thank you so much, and for showing it to us within time. I'm sure I hear you speak from the heart, meaning you live this every day. I'll go to Patience and say, Patience, your vision and plans so far at SIF, and how you will achieve Vision 2030.
Thank you very much. I think at SIF, we don't only look at the people that can afford, but we want to consider everybody. And the challenge that is there is that the developments that we have coming up are far, way out of reach for the ordinary person. So whilst, yes, we have a vision to be able to contribute to 2030, our plan is we've engaged the government to partner in achieving achieving housing for the majority, which is the low income cost housing, which is what we are working at. It is critical to note that Zimbabwe has a backlog of property. Government hasn't been a major player for some years, and the properties that are coming up are developed by private sector. The properties that are coming up are developed by private sectors, and in the private sector, when they put up properties, for them it's for them to make a profit. So we have the majority of the people without properties, and unless we come up with a partnership with the government to address these challenges, I think we have problems. One of the challenges that so far we've had in trying to achieve these particular goals is that I think we are all aware of the National Strategic Development Goal, NDS1, which talks of the US dollar being discounted at the end of 2025, which has left us in a difficult position in that we are unable to even borrow from financial institutions to fulfill our Vision 2030. So whilst we have a vision to address these housing challenges, I think as we kindly call upon the government or the respective authorities to look at that, because that is our major hurdle. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Patience is saying the focus on inclusivity. There are those that cannot afford, who will not leave any man behind. And that's a focus, that's a vision. And I think talking to having everybody in the upper middle economy. Thank you. Richard, your take on this.
Thank you, Commissioner, and good afternoon to everybody. Thank you. My take in terms of the vision, I want to say as Rosson Properties, we are in sync in terms of the Vision 2030 that the government is pushing, in the sense that we are in the process of building a property group ecosystem that comprises of Rosson Properties and then our 10-axis property development. And of course, we are in the process of building a renewable energy company. Then in addition to that, also, we are also in the process of establishing a real estate financial services company. What is driving us is the vision that we have set for ourselves as Harare Property Group, where Rosson Properties is a subsidiary, where we want to be the number one property brand and list on the stock exchange by 2030. And currently, we are of the belief that we need to include, we believe in inclusivity, in the sense that we have got a development that we are currently working on. And this particular development is focusing on developing a smart city in Harare South. And Harare South, we are trying to accommodate the low to middle income earners, where we are saying we want to develop a city that will incorporate low income earners and middle income earners as well. So in trying to develop this smart city, it is in line with the concept that of late, if you look at the lifestyle, there's a change in terms of tastes of what the market wants. They are now towards sustainable development. Hence, the drive to incorporate renewable energy in our developments. Also, you will find that in terms of the current buyer that we have or investor that we want, they are for innovation. So we want to incorporate innovation in our developments here. So I want to believe that as a company, we are also moving in the right direction and also in sync with what the government is trying to achieve. And remember, one of the key pillars that the government is trying to drive is in infrastructure development, which is exactly what we are trying to do as well. And in addition to that, they are also trying to promote housing delivery. So we are there to try and also assist the government in trying to achieve the Vision 20 through housing delivery.
Thank you, Richard. So, I think, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard for yourself that we've got this panel covering from all facets of the market, being top of the range, middle, and low. But I'm sure for the Honorable Minister here, you hear for yourself that everybody's being covered, it's being thought of, which is quite important. I would like to give you a small chart to market, but I want to give it to you this way. I've got CEOs here. You are in this market. What do you have of interest to these CEOs, where they can come and play? But not only as CEOs in their individual capacity, but also for their businesses. Some probably are in the same sector, but what you want them to think about at an individual level and at a business level with your vision as such, and please prepare for the same. Go on, Kat.
Thank you. Firstly, I'd like to continue where my brother Richard left off on talking about smart cities, because I really think this is the concept of the future. There's no reason why people should spend 1 or 2 hours in traffic getting to work, commuting to go and find a shopping center to buy their groceries, and then coming back home. So the concept of having convenience in one location is what we're all about at Westbrook. We have 3 cities within a city, we call them. And the one that I'd like to talk today about to the CEOs is something that will surprise everyone in this room. Obviously, Borrowdale is really exciting where we have those developments that I've just showed you. What I didn't show you on that slide was diagonally opposite those 2 residential developments in Borrowdale is where the Mall of Zimbabwe is being built. And we've agreed with the partners in South Africa. They're listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange exemplar. They've been our partners from day one. They've patiently been waiting for the right time in Zimbabwe. Next year, we're starting to build that mall. It's a $100 million shopping mall. And that's great news for Borrowdale. There's an office park of almost 200,000 square meters of offices going in around the mall. Various developers, including ourselves, own the land there. And that will change the city's face forever, because it will shift a lot of the activity happening in downtown with offices to go north to Borrowdale. And then, of course, Pomona City, which is a $4 billion city on its own, is something very exciting. But I'd like to move our attention today to everyone to the west of Harare, where we own a piece of land together with the City Fathers. Our joint venture partner in a triple P is the city of Harare, where they own 30% of a company called Sunshine Developments. And in Sunshine Developments, we own a piece of land on 127 hectares known as the Warren Hills Golf Course. Quite a famous golf course where people like Nick Price learned to play golf. And we've finalized, after 15 years of trying to rezone that area and to create a world-class development, we've now finalized that development. And we're going public next month with the launch of a brand new lifestyle estate, a $280 million development, not only the biggest development of luxury world-class residences in Zimbabwe, but actually the biggest in the continent today, where we are the first country, I want to say it again, not company, the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to launch a branded residential estate. By branded, it means the hotel, the luxury 5-star hotel that we're bringing to Zimbabwe, will allow us to brand the homes and the flats with the same name as the luxury hotel. That gives the residents the exclusivity and the access of the hotel services. So you can be in your presidential villa on the golf course, or in your penthouse apartment, which is where I'll be living, in one of the penthouse apartments. And you can call room service and say, I want to have a fillet steak in my room, or I need the butler to come and serve my guests, or I want my laundry done, or I want housekeeping done. And when you leave the hotel, you can have the choice as the owner to give your unit to the hotel. The presidential villa will rent at $10,000 a day, and $5,000, half of that money goes back to the owner. They even pack up your personal belongings, put it away in boxes, and when you come back, they put it back for you. So this is the type of luxury that we're bringing to Zimbabwe, in an area where everyone would say, why Warren Hills? And by the way, we've renamed the estate to The Hills. The Hills Luxury Lifestyle Estate, designed by no less than 6 professionals from 6 different countries, including Peter Makovich, who's a famous golf designer. He's currently on the golf course as we talk. And 5 other professionals, including Morocco, Dubai, France, Spain, where our main architect is, and Portugal. The team of professionals have designed something exceptionally beautiful. I mean, really something that we cannot expect to have. In fact, the golf course is the first PGA golf course in Zimbabwe, the second one in the region. And we want the golfers that are on the PGA tour to come to Zimbabwe, to visit Zimbabwe for a day or two, even just to play a round of golf on our course. And this is a 24-month build. It's costing $10 million, ladies and gentlemen, just for the golf course. So it's a very expensive garden to have, but the residents will have that beauty around them all the time. And because we're in lifestyle ecosystems, we looked at what else can you do other than golf. We're creating the first swimming academy. Kirsty Coventry's agreed to put a name on it. We're creating the first major tennis academy. We're creating a golf academy. Nick Price has agreed to put his name on the golf academy. The driving range is the first one on water. So there are many firsts in this estate, including the shopping center that we'll be building, an office park. So everything you really want to have within an oasis, only 10 minutes from the city center. And most importantly, if you look at the expansion of the city, and this is the reason why I wanted to talk about this today, the city is expanding westward. There's nothing we can do about it. Looks like the US government knew before our own government, because they built their embassy in Westgate several years ago. But our government then also built the Mount Hampton Parliament. And there's going to be 1 million people living in that new city. So when you think of the city node growing, everyone thinks, north, Borrowdale, Chisipiti, but in fact, the growth of the future of our city is west, northwest. If you take the airport where it is today, the new airport in Mount Hampton, the connection of those airports will go directly past Warren Hills, past our land. So we're looking at the future, way into the future. We're always planning ahead. Right now, I'm looking at our sales pipeline for 2026. We know what we're selling this year, next year, and 2025. We're already developing the pipeline for 2026. So we look at much further ahead than many people because we can try to bring the market to the future we want to build.
Thank you. I almost was seeing the picture. I don't know for you. So Ken, what you are saying here is that as a CEO, I probably need to get your team for a larger apartment for myself. I'm sure what you are saying is with all this development, with through smart partnerships, all these CEOs that are representing different companies, from building, from office supply and so forth, needs to be close by to be able to supply and input into this dream.
News travels fast. On the plane while I was flying to Victoria Falls, I got 2 emails on our sales at westprop.com channel because I could see all the sales inquiries coming. And 2 of them were for suppliers of hotel amenities and hotel furniture. So I don't know how they knew because we haven't launched it to the market yet. We're doing a soft launch between now and end of November. And we invite everyone here today. There will be a special discount for early entrants. We always believe in giving value to our early investors. In Millennium Heights, the first studio apartments were selling for $25,000 3 years ago. The people that bought there, one of the ladies is in the audience today, the people that bought there were renting those units at $70 a day on Airbnb. It's a luxury studio apartment. They could return their capital in just over a year from the rental income. We're talking of double-digit income on those units. The same units today are selling at $55,000. So all I can say is, yes, everyone here today is welcome. Please, we're doing by private invitation only the soft launch at the end of November. Anyone interested, please contact us and we'll take the name.
Thank you. Right, Patience, same to you. You've got the CEOs here, and they've got their businesses in their hearts, and a lot of the businesses that are outside there. What do you have for them in your vision?
Thank you very much. Like I mentioned, we always talk inclusivity. We do have quite a lot of products that are there. We've got 3 major products that are going to be launched at the end of the year. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to disclose at this point, but please like our Facebook page and follow us. You will see what is happening. I just want to talk about our signature development, which is the Dabuka Estates in Rua. I think most of you have seen it. It went on the market a couple of months ago, almost sold out. We've got OK coming in, we've got a service station, everything. It's like we say, a lifestyle. It went on the market for $55 per square meter, and right now the current stands that are there are going as much as $65 per square meter. We also do have flats that are available on that apartment, and the good thing about Dabuka is we have looked at what people can afford. So if you've got your 30% deposits, you come and you have 2 years to pay the balance. So this is why we're saying we are not leaving anyone behind. We want to take all. We've also had a lot of corporates that have come in to purchase stands for their employees, and we're saying if you are interested in purchasing something for your employees, the pension fund, please do see me. I've also got brochures which I can share with you on the Dabuka Lifestyle Village. We have Elma Park in Rua, which is 300 hectares of development that is coming up, and we will be launching it in December. So if you are interested in, this is in Marondera. In Marondera, as you enter Marondera on your right, just after the railway line, we've got 300 hectares there. Please do see me. We also do have Penrose Estates Phase 1. Phase 1, if you go to Penrose, the first phase that is there, We've got stands averaging 400 square meters, 400 to about 1,000. And when we are launching phase 2, we are looking at putting up apartments. And yes, we are considering 30% deposit and balance over a period. But like I did mention, we are looking at the National Strategic Development, which is NDS1, which talks about 2025. So once that is addressed, we can then say, no, come pay your 30% deposit and we give you 10 years to pay. I think that's the limiting factor that we currently have, where financial institutions are not prepared to lend beyond 2030, which then makes it very difficult and very expensive for all of us to go and borrow from the financial institutions. So like us, we are also affected, by that. We've also got a major development that is coming north of Orchard Hill. That one we will be launching very soon. If for those that are interested, please just keep looking at our Facebook page. It's a massive development. And the commercial, I think we all do know that that area is now heavily populated, because it will also then touch on Longo Shava. So if you are investing in commercial property, the returns are excellent. I think this is what I will talk about for now, but I do have brochures of the other apartments, because we also have apartments that are coming up within Borrowdale, we've got Greendale, and we've also got Rua. Rua, it's I think Rua is very interesting. It's coming up next month. It's 55,000 for a 3-bedroom apartment, just after, if you know where they call Pajoj. So that's up again. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I would like the CEOs to be thinking about attracting talent and retention. Those are the opportunities for housing schemes, for your own retirement. There will be retirement sometime soon. So definitely, this opportunity, a few bucks of rent, while you're playing golf at the hills, okay, and getting a few bucks. So I think really to bring this context, okay, and I'm sure that financial intermediaries here were also looking at this and say, how can we support? Richard, what do you have for the CEOs and their businesses?
Thank you. I think I want to try and draw you back to the city that I'm building in Harare South here. We have set a vision for this particular city, where we are saying we want this city to be the #1 smart city, where residents and investors will develop a deep sense of pride and prosperity in this development. We want them to be proud of this development. That's the vision that we have set for this particular city that we are developing here. So I would want to say to my fellow CEOs, I know some of us will struggle with trying to retain human capital, our talent. So this is an opportunity to come to us where we can have an arrangement where you can try and buy for your employees, so that you are able to retain your talent here. That's one. Number two, I know that in the past, and even up to this point, we sometimes struggle in terms of what we can do with our RTGS balances here. So, you know, property has proven to be the best form of trying to preserve value. So you can come to us where you can invest in property, so that you can preserve the value of your investment here. Then also, I also want to say that what we are developing is a city, and to my honorable minister, we are developing a city that we estimate to have more than 35,000 in terms of population. My view is that it's a constituency on its own that we are trying to develop. So then, yeah, that's my view. So there could be, we are also trying to develop an industrial park within that city. So in terms of the population, as a CEO or maybe as an industrialist, you are guaranteed of labor within that community. So it's a very good place, in my view, to try and come to us and invest in that city. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable Minister, I think Richard is also saying he would like to be an MP in his city. Allow me to just hit on something as I listened, and I don't know for all of you. I come from a culture where we had our own homestead, Kumusha. A culture where we had a standalone house. This is the cluster houses that are coming up. I come from a place where we see a few malls not doing so well, some actually closing off, a number are there. This has Shika and Mbare. There is a phenomenon of informalization. This has the big business. Does this ring a bell? Does this say something to the vision and the plans which we have? And how do we think we're going to harness that?
I think I'll speak to the segment that we're in. I believe there's horses for courses, and in our particular market, we aimed at the top end of the market for a specific reason that's where we want to go in the future. And in that segment of the market, it's very clear that the customers are discerning, and the producers or the providers, the developers who have the superior product are the one that will attract the customers. So when it comes to culture, I think it's important as well to look at the Zimbabwean culture in the way that people like to socialize. Even in Kumusha or in the high densities or wherever people have been living in the past, you'll find people congregating together. Yes, we have our private properties, and some of us have built high walls and security because of necessity rather than because of want. I think we want as a people to talk to our neighbors. We want as a people to go to areas where we can socialize. We want our children to be able to walk in the street and feel safe, to play with other children as they grow up. Many cities in the world are able to provide this. And this is the idea of our lifestyle estates, that it's a secure estate on a very large piece of area where people can congregate. We create social areas of recreation, of amenities, of sporting, of entertainment, so people can come together in those areas and communicate with each other. And I think the time of high walls and of separating your homes is gone. I do believe that in the future we're going to continue to see densification of the city, and it's actually a policy in the city of Harare to densify our city.
Thank you so much. I'll quickly ask for the other team here, Mr. Matengambeli. Just two key focus areas. If you were the local governance minister to deliver Vision 2030, what would you focus on?
I think what I would try and do is to make sure that we try and improve in terms of efficiency or effectiveness, especially on the aspect of approval of paperwork. Because what I've experienced in the past is that we've got a lot of land developers or land owners who want to try and create value out of their land which they currently have. But one of the biggest challenges which they have is that it takes time to get approval. Where it's supposed to take about 3 to 6 months, you sometimes go for a year or even beyond that before you get approvals there. So if I were given the opportunity, I would try and make sure that there is efficiency and effectiveness in terms of trying to the approval aspect here. Then I would also try and make sure that I address the issue of bulk infrastructure in terms of water, in terms of sewer reticulation system as well. Because currently we have got some areas that have been dry for quite some time, and that has affected the values of those properties within those places. So I will make sure that there is water and then sewer reticulation system in the urban areas.
Thank you very much. I just want to add also that if I were the minister, I'll also look at the cost of submitting development plans. I mean, it's way out of reach. We cannot afford to do that. And then also, one thing that I want to look at, because there's a lot of focus on Harare, and we tend to miss the other areas like Bulawayo, like Victoria, right here in Victoria Falls. And one of the reasons which I think developers shun these other cities is The cost of putting infrastructure is the same, but what you get after you put the infrastructure is very different. So all developers tend to look at Harare, leaving the other sectors. Bulawayo is left behind because you put a road for the same amount as Harare and you sell the property for 10 times more than what you would get in Bulawayo. So I think I'm not sure how that can be addressed, but I think these are some of the reasons that are leaving some of the other cities way behind.
Lastly, Mr. Ken, if you were the finance minister, you were talking about Airbnb, you were talking about what economic policy, one or two, you have got the Z coming, does it enable the market development that you're talking about?
It's a very pertinent question. I was sitting exactly in this spot. I don't know why I'm in the same seat, but I was exactly in the seat at ZCon last week, the Zimbabwean Economic Conference, hosted by the Ministry of Finance. And my whole paper presentation was based on not the de-dollarization of the economy, but the continuation of the dollar. So for us to aspire to become an upper middle income country by 2030, my view is it is impossible if we remove US dollars. And therefore the government's policy to only allow US dollars to 2025 is short-sighted. It needs to be indefinite. Yes, we have to have our own currency, but there's no reason why we should ban any other currencies, be it the US dollar or the British pound or the Japanese yen or anything else. I think the economy is based on the market. It's a live, living animal. The market doesn't lie. It tells the truth. And I presented a document which showed a property that I bought 15 years ago in Harare. And I sold it, I bought it for $110,000 US. It was an old building that I renovated, painted up as an office, sold it. And when I sold it for about $500,000. And the people that ended up buying it were in the room and confirmed it's now worth over $1 million. So that's almost a 10 times return in 15 years. I bought another property in South Africa in Bryanston for $2 million US 15 years ago and sold it this year for $700,000 US. So the reason why I lost 3 times my equity, and both of those are 100% equity deals, no debt, which means the loser is me. And the reason for the difference is because of the exchange rate mechanism. The South African rand is not a good currency. And for that reason, I won't invest in South Africa. The Zimbabwean economy is a very good investment currency because you're sure that when you put US dollars in, you're going to get US dollars out. And property is one of the few sectors in the last 15 years that hasn't had any price distortions because it's only been trading in US dollars. Today, 90% of our economy is US dollar based. So if I was the Minister of Finance, I would definitely be making a statement to give more confidence to those who are relying on US dollars to say they have to stay. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, time is a thief and time is jealousy. I'm sure you've got this panel to ask for more, and you've gotten a little bit of the gist of how we can achieve Vision 2030 through property market development. I thank you.
Economic indicators, Business Confidence Index. The BCI shows how the business economy is viewed within each country, or it presents the economic situation and climate. The BCI can also be used to check growth and anticipate curves in economic growth. It allows analysis of economic situation in short term and is usually published monthly or quarterly. The interpretation of the BCI depends on the methodology or approach used. However, the outcomes are always interpreted the same. That is, either respondents are optimistic or pessimistic about the outlook of the economy. Every quarter, CEO Art will conduct surveys asking questions about the overall economy, sectorial perspective, own business prospects, and key economic variables outlook. From the inaugural BCI survey, second quarter of 2023, the BCI for Zimbabwe was about 55 points, which is less than the base, 100 points. This implies that the respondents were pessimistic or bearish about the future outlook of the economy. The key issues highlighted for immediate attention in order to improve the business confidence in Zimbabwe are exchange rate, inflation management, narrowing the infrastructure gap, and fighting corruption. As we embark on the third quarter BCA survey, we call upon all key stakeholders to participate and complete the questionnaires for effective contribution towards establishing this significant economic indicator.